population here. You're really talking about it's a very specific case, very specific situation. We just need to make sure we're working on the culture and the people that are involved in that group. And to be fair, there's lots of really good people that I've been in contact with throughout the last year and a half. And I think we need to do right by the whole process and just say, these are the expectations. Here's how we're gonna go. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this information. This is how we're gonna work moving ahead. And this is what we're committed to. You know, so I would think like right now we happen to be talking about basketball program, and we're certainly not gonna get into anything performance related. We're about as far as we're gonna go before this has to be like in a closed session,
I just don't see how a coach can have to deal with those types of things. Most of these guys are volunteer, they're doing something for the community, they're doing something for our kids. I think it's just.
I appreciate you recognizing that, absolutely.
I do too.
So, and we kind of did talk about that probably 2-3 months ago when Sherry brought it up too. It's like, hey, yeah, we're just fortunate to have people who want to coach. By the way, when it came to our Coach Bob for the soccer program, I almost was going to say, whoever made eye contact with me first. You're right, you know, because that's literally, it's so difficult to find coaches. And I don't think that all programs in the school district coaching has what Joel had kind of talked about with this little edge on it. We have so much to celebrate. There are so many wonderful programs here, committed coaches. So it's just having a little bit of a rocky road here, and we need to support our coach through it, absolutely. Where's the opportunity for feedback and for growth? I think that's what is important. There's a right time, right place, and the right way to do it. So I think Joel really trying to communicate with everybody today, hey, could you help to support that? And making sure that you know what you're supporting. Rather than just saying, by the way, we have a chain of command. No, we literally, our parents come together every year, we go through this. They have an opportunity right then and there to say, yeah, I'm not digging this, I want to talk to you about it. You know, and I guess I'd appreciate that. I would rather have that than a reactionary conversation. You know, so let's get proactive. Joe, I do think like sending out a communication in a newsletter, hey, these are the expectations as we wrap up the school year.
We can spin it positive.
Yeah, like that's a good way to do that.
Well, of course you spin everything positive.
So we do have newsletters.
We appreciate all the parents that
we send out a monthly superintendent update that everybody helps to contribute to, and we can definitely just include some content in there too. I hope people read it. That'd be great. Mm-hmm.
So my question real quick is kind of going off of what you said. So if they're not to discuss this, and you want to have them discuss it with the chain of command, talking with the coach, but these are not the things that you want them to talk to, do you recommend these people to come to talk to you about it?
No, I think that's a really fine line. I think to a certain extent, especially coming from a student athlete, coach, what do I need to do to earn more playing time? Or what do I need to do to be able to play this position that I'd like to play? I think that's totally appropriate. And I think if a parent is there also, I don't think there's a problem with that. I think it's why did this kid get to play and this kid didn't, and this kid, because now you're talking about other kids too. And it really puts a coach in a very difficult spot. And again, it's,
why don't you put it in positive and include in here, communication coaches should expect from student athletes. And in there, that's where,
sure.
Hey, if you've got concerns about playing time, own it, man and woman. Come and talk to me, you know.
But I think it is a fine line. I think at a certain point, especially at the end of the season, as I look forward, I'm looking forward to my senior year. What do I need to do to be able to be a stronger contributor to the team?
So putting more responsibility on that athlete other than the parent.
And isn't that what we're here for anyways? I mean, trying to help kids, put kids in situations where they learn to advocate for themselves, and that's really what this is all about anyways.
I agree. I mean,
Sam, did you get that, what he just said? Just trying to make sure.
Yeah, I'll be frank though, this is not a news story.
It's
It's not,
It's
it's
not the
a
cover of the
opinion
page.
piece, and that's what I said to the person who called me. I said, write a letter to the editor and I would be happy to print it, but, you know, this coach has done nothing to.
I agree.
I know, I agree. I mean, I had to talk to my coach multiple times if I ever had.
I get phone calls.
Joe, you play enough football, I thought, And he kind of talked to me, he said, I kind of feel that way too, Dad. Okay, what did you do? What did you do, or what did you say, how did you ask your coach, how do I get more playing time? Coach came straight out and said it, you got it here, we need to see it, you make it for a full game. I said, so do what you have to do this summer. Do what you have to do. I think part of it comes down to also the parents have to say, get their son or daughter, whoever, whichever sport it may be in, and say, if you want more playing time, what do you have to do to make that playing time happen? And like you said, it's gotta be communication with the coach.
See, things to celebrate in areas like Mayville is, you can go out for these sports. You're gonna be on that team. That is amazing. Go south to some of these, go to Hartford and look at some of these very large school districts. And unless you are performing at this level and you are playing a club sport almost all year round, good luck making that team. I mean, to me, you really need to celebrate what we do have. And I just think people have to embrace it. Say, all right, I have all these opportunities. I may not get that much playing time, but you know what? You get to be on a team. And that alone is exceptional. You really can't say that if you drive within a 50-mile radius that all the kids in the state of Wisconsin that 50 miles get to say that. They don't. It's a whole bunch of them that don't. So there's the present in the present, absolutely. And I think we just have to pause a second and just say, okay, what is this all about? And if it's a playing time thing, kids, own it, work with the coach. We just need our coaches to be receptive. You know, that would be the thing.
I've had
Coaches
that
need to be
conversation.
receptive, work with those kids, respect them, respect the fact that, hey, they have enough in them, say, hey, I'd like to talk to you about playing time. But you know, playing time, though, you don't talk about playing time in the middle of a game.
Correct.
Right?
You know what that's
There's a
gonna
time and a
teach the
place for
kid?
that.
That's gonna teach the kid drive. How do I get a raise in my next job? How do I better myself? Because he's being taught how to do that to a coach right now when there's nothing really drastically at stake. Now he'll learn that and he'll learn how to approach somebody, and that's what we're here to.
That's
We're here
called
to help
cultural
teach.
competence, right?
We're here to help teach these kids how to be a young adult. And showing them and explaining to them, this is what you have to do to get more playing time or whatever is one way of doing that.
These kids are in the shadows of, you said, the reputation of 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it's hard to live up to that because other schools are getting better. Their programs are developing. And when we went to high school, we had cutouts, but we had bigger numbers.
I was gonna say, okay, here, that's another thing. This is not apples to apples, too. So how many students were in the high school 20 years ago? I seriously.
But we have, you got 100 and some in your class.
We had 180.
I had
Okay.
117, 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not, I mean.
So we
that's
just
not that
got
different.
rid of the, no, you know, we had a no cut policy with our number, that's great, but.
And I mean, that alone, just Sam's 17, that alone, that's an extra 60 kids in the high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But right now, the great thing is, there's tons of opportunities for kids to go out for sports. Yeah. And you can look at our numbers like wrestling, it's tight, it's hard to try to run all the programs that we do have, you know? So we need everybody to be involved, and if by the way, good example would be, if basketball is not the sport for you, we do have another sport that you could go out for. You know, my wife told me a story that when she was a freshman at her high school, she tried out for actually 4 different teams before she found her team. You know, there's something out there for everybody.
So we did-
You don't have to put a square peg in a round hole.
90, what, I think 20 years ago, 22 years ago, when they came up and asked for soccer. And I'm not a soccer fan at all, but yeah, some of the kids.
Are you reformed at all? You still say that today?
No, I'd rather watch hockey. No, sure.
We'll save the kids.
Yeah, and we lost 4 kids off the football team, and that's kids that hardly ever saw the field.
Yeah,
So it's just another venue for them. Yeah.
so,
Pretty much, then we should reword the part where it says the topics of conversation for
I think the communications
parents
quotient
to
they should
make it
expect
to
from
the
students.
kids, from the students,
I think
instead
we
of
need to-
saying what's not appropriate. So then it lets the parents know when they're reading this that it can be discussed, that their kids should be
Point well
discussed.
taken.
So there won't be defensive in the readings.
Yeah, so we just know, right, because right now it looks like no one can talk about it anymore.
Right.
And if you would use this document, I just think that would help you too. because you're saying it's kind of this fine line. Well, let's put it in writing. Here's the expectation. The other part too is I think that really fits well in when we talk about that profile of a graduate. I know I've mentioned it probably third time in a board meeting, but this summer, fall, I really want us to start to work on that. And when we work on that, it is going to be about those soft skills. It is going to be about being able to communicate and to that word I use, cultural competence. You know, there's a way to speak about your playing time that's going to be totally acceptable versus the pout face and the tantrum as you want to talk about playing time. You know, what are you trying to get accomplished exactly? So our society needs our kids to be able to work through some of these bumps. It's very important for the growth of the United States of America still. We gotta be able to everybody own their stuff, and I think that'd be great.
So will this be given out in the beginning of each school year when parents are signing the waivers and all that stuff too, or how is that?
We normally present this at those mandatory co-curricular code meetings. We hold those before every season, but they only have to attend one. So the bulk come in the fall, but anybody who wasn't out for a fall sport will come to the winter one, and so on. So everybody who's participating should have heard about this.
And will these tie into any parent consequences for disorderly conduct at these events too?
If you were to scroll up a little further, we have a little blurb about what we have in terms of expectations for sportsmanship. I've never had anything rise to that level of where a parent received a disorderly conduct or anything like that. Occasionally, we may have had somebody who was asked to leave the gym, but that's pretty rare.
I've been to the house, so I don't know what I'm saying.
As an official, yeah, I've asked some people to leave the gym, but by and large, that's not where the issue is.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
So kind of,
Wouldn't believe it.
so in kind of summary of that topic, Joel just says, I asked for the board's support of this plan. And just, I mean, and the good news is, I think now you have this because you may not have access to this other ways, right? Like it comes to the parent meetings, if you don't have a student out for sport, you wouldn't have seen this, so I think it's a good idea that you do have that, so. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you.
Joel.
Thank you.
Okay, any unfinished business? New business, we have resolution 1718223, approval of co-curricular volunteer coaching agreement with Josh Nails for 2018 girls soccer season. So moved. Motion by Joe,
I'll second it.
second by Dave. Joe, you want to give a little history?
Sure. I'm sorry. Josh helped with Josh is a former athlete from Mayville who excelled at soccer when he played here. And he helped with our boys program as our JV coach this fall. And he just wants to stay involved and work as a volunteer with our girls program. Doesn't have the time to commit to, fully be vested, but when he's available, he's willing to come up and help.
Any questions on this resolution?
Right there.
Joe?
Hi.
Hi. Oh, no, it's called adventure.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
It's that co-curricular there, I automatically thought it was you, it's club adventure.
Resolution 1718224, approval of co-curricular contract for Roxanne Walker for club invention.
So moved.
Motion by Norm, seconded by
I'll second.
Dave. Anybody have any input?
Yeah, so Club Invention is our STEM after-school program that we run at Parkview. This is our 5th year, I believe, of running this program, and Roxanne has been kind enough to drive that ship for the last 2 years. So this is her contract so that she can be supported in her work she does with our kids.
Any questions on this resolution?
So how often do you meet, or when do they meet?
They have 6 after-school sessions. They're about an hour and a half long. The kids get a snack, and then Roxanne comes in and follows the curriculum. This year it was outer space that she does with the kids in our Parkview art room, which next year will take place in our STEAM space. How many kids? The program, we get it through a PTA grant, so it comes out that we have 20 kids, and it's open to first graders and second graders.
You guys ever asked about St. John's, being able to have their kids go over there for that?
No, but that's a great idea. I know we've also looked at, what I'd like to pursue further is like a Lego league as well.
Sure.
And open it up to the parochial, or to our private schools.
Okay.
And then we had John Deere supporting us in that.
John Deere, we met with them last spring,
Yeah.
but never got anything set.
Let's do some.
Good idea.
Norm?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carried 7-0. At this time, I'm gonna turn over the meeting to Mr. Fink.
Official oath of office. So the three new elected please come to the front.
How do you want to do this?
Just stand in a circle, okay? And right hand, everybody know? Okay. And after I say aye, you put your name in. Okay, I,
John Westfall.
James John.
having been elected to the office of the School Board Education District of Mayville, you need to repeat that. Having been elected
Having been elected
to the office of Board of Education for the School District of Mayville,
Board of Education for the School District of Mayville,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. Break that down a little more. I will faithfully and impartially discharge
faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of said office
the duties of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You're officially in. You get to sign these sheets of paper. Let's see, John Westfall. Congratulations, guys. Yeah, sign them and give them back.
You'll get a copy in the mail or at the next meeting.
Who wants it?
Additional citizen comments?
I'll make it easier. I'm gonna face you, Sherry. There we go. First of all, I'd like to thank you so much for being part of the board. We learn a lot all the time from different folks, so thank you for your service up here, being on any type of board, committees, alderman, it doesn't matter what it is, anything like that. It is truly a thankless job, but it does mean something. You've done something for education. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to Sheree about it too. I mean, you took the time to apply for this, and, you know, through an application process as far as, you know, us appointing somebody. And I want to congratulate you on going through that process. And don't think that this has to be the end either. I mean, there's always next year.
Yes.
So thank you for taking the time to participate in this, and I know you didn't get enough time to actually learn everything that's going on, but you did supply us with another opinion, so we appreciate that.
Crash course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other announcements, just want to recognize, last week there was a opportunity for us to acknowledge Lance Taylor, who was an administrator here, a special ed administrator and a principal who passed away. And there was a deal out at the gun club to go and acknowledge him for that. So I just want to acknowledge, Lance Taylor was a very liked person around here. He was here for, I don't know how many years, 10 years maybe? Yeah. So just, condolences went out to his wife Bonnie and to his son that was there. So just want to recognize Lance as a integral part of this community when he was here as far as administrator. Okay, we have the main meeting set.
I guess a comment I'd have, this election for me was kind of interesting, and I think Cheryl and I drove every road in our district. And it's, that in itself is an experience to see. It's a long ways from Iron Ridge to north of Highway 49. There's a lot of roads, a lot of houses, and it really gives you a different perspective of where buses have to go and everything.
Yeah, and that's actually why, like daylight today, that we had the 2 hour delay, all those back roads. So, I mean, yesterday, they were pretty brutal, and we weren't sure what was happening with the weather still. We still received like 1 to 2 inches of snow depending on where you were this morning. So it was a good call to have the 2 hour delays. The way the condition of those back roads are. City was okay, but with those back roads, not so much.
I got a comment on April 23rd, Seesaw. The Blue Ribbon Commission's going to be up there. And
there's 3 districts that are speaking in particular.
yeah, and they want me to make a statement because I'm on the Seesaw Board of Control up there. So I was talking to Ryan. And
I have a document of things to say and not to, by the way, too.
I'll stop in.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they said what's been happening is they go to these Blue Commission hearings and people are begging. And they just shut down. They said that actually the notes that are being taken from the meetings, the pen goes down or the typing stops.
Just laid back. Yeah.
And they're like, okay. Because they're looking for solutions. So like tonight, I think what I appreciate about the dialogue was we ended up having some solutions or feedback for Joel that could be, okay, have you thought about this? Versus, what's been happening is they come up and said some of the superintendents or community members are like red in the face, and spit's flying out, and they're just shouting, and that's not what they're there for. They're looking for, okay, well, I got that. Now, what's the solution? So I think it is important to say, okay, here's the state of the state. But here are some things that we think could help to make a difference. That's really what this whole commission experience is supposed to be about. That they could just look on social media and find that in about 2 seconds now. So they have to go to, so when people come, they're looking for, okay, here is some tough times. These are the positive things. Here's what we recommend that you could do about it. So, yeah, April 23rd.
I like to say something.
Sure.
I know this has been a big thing going on in the media, given that kind of going off that census thing, but with the teachers and everything, I know the budgets and everything are coming up, and I hope you guys are listening to them and what their needs are. I know I heard from
Teaching
a lot of
staff?
them, yeah. Maybe look at more what we can do, maybe with that new surplus of sales stuff, maybe look at increasing their budget for their, I don't want to see our teachers in a place where they're on TV. I think
Like you
we
see
have.
down in MPS, how they have a
Yeah.
5% budget cut at the building level, and that did not go well.
Yeah.
No, people are really upset.
Are upset, and they do care about what they need to provide for their kids, and I hope that's.
The only thing that I want to know as a superintendent would be like, they're in declining enrollment, and if the buildings have shrunk in size, having a 5% reduction is logical. I'm not in the circle of trust. I don't have all that information, but when I read that, like, 5%, we're rallying over 5%, but I don't know what it means. And we don't know the context. Maybe they've been taking hits on the budget year after year after year. So it's like, you're right, we don't want that in Mayville, and we certainly don't have a budget that we're building that looks like that either. So, but that's a wise comment, by the way.
One thing that we do offer here at Mayville for our staff, our teachers, is we run it's called a mini grant program.
Yep.
So they're,
Yeah.
they're allowed to